Been good. It's coming out from under the hole we were buried in for a little bit, getting a lot of stuff checked off the list. Staff is pretty much complete. Got a few more things we're doing there, but that's been a big thing. We've all been spread out, so to get everyone in the same place has been really helpful.
What are your first impressions of your squad that you've seen in the last, 3 days of practice?
No, I love it. I mean, they're eager, eager to learn. I've tried to tell them, I understand it's a lot of newness, a lot of new terminology, and not to get caught up in all that. That'll happen over time, but it's just been good. Good energy in the building, good leadership out of Dallin and Richie, so things have been good.
Do you have a timeline in your head when you finish up you're getting your roster all Sunday?
Um, it's a moving target, man. It's every things change literally every 5 minutes, and so that's one thing with having the staff all together. It's a lot easier to move on that stuff as things happen. There's a lot that just happened even right before we came down here and things. So um, don't have a timeline on it. We're just trying to make good decisions.
You mentioned you've seen some early leadership from Dallin and Richie. Obviously, during the transition, it wasn't guaranteed that they were going to come back. What have you just kind of seen from them mentality-wise, and what was the challenge in convincing them that they should come back and be coached someday?
I mean, the thing that both of them talked, and I never talked to them together. It was always separate, and so the one commonality between the two of them was like, how can I help get them better, right? And so the staff we put together has an extremely strong player development background. They've soaked it up so far, a couple of days into it. So that's been the theme, trying to get them back, and then that's kind of been where they've kind of sunk their teeth into here early.
What are the specific roles each coach is going to have within your staff?
Yeah, so that's in the college space, right? There's recruiting expertise, and then there's on-court expertise, right? And so every guy that I brought in has a specific niche in the recruiting world, whether that's geographic, whether that's networks and so forth. So each one brings something different there. And then from a tactical side, I mean, I'll have guys broken up similar to a football staff with the offensive and defensive kind of lanes, and then heavy in the player development space as well, and then some special projects. Those are kind of the buckets that they'll fill.
Will Voigt go to the defensive side, Coach Voigt, and then who will be on the offensive side?
Yeah, so it's all still a work in progress, honestly. I was mainly focused on people first. Will obviously has I've coached against Will forever, so he's a really good basketball coach. He's not just a defensive guy. That's where he's kind of made his mark, so definitely lean on him a lot there. But regardless of where guys sort of lie in their expertise, I want these guys to be extremely well-rounded.
Even though you said that your assistants have a lot of different strengths and things to pull from, is there a common denominator that you looked at in terms of all of them as to why they were good fits here?
Yeah, I mean, the first is the people. I think everything starts with the people. Personality fits, just are they a good person, right? And then that's the number one thing. And then obviously within that, okay, what boxes can they check for me, whether that's college expertise, whether that's international expertise, whether that's tactical expertise. And so that's why I didn't just rush out and just hire 5 guys right out of the gate. It was a process to make sure we got the right people in here, and we went through a pretty good vetting process of, obviously I had a relationship with the majority of them, but using some of the administration here to vet these guys with me and do it together.
Even though they're obviously guys that are back from last year, does it help when you've got completely new coaching staff and a lot of new players? Does all of the new actually help because everybody's got to get to know everybody anyway?
Yeah, I think so. I think, and I was talking to the players. I could tell their heads were spinning a little bit with me. I'm just rolling off my tongue. This is what I've called stuff for 20 years. And even the coaches, it's all new to them. They're all running around with like notes and pads. We're so busy recruiting, we haven't really had a chance to really get on the same page from a tactical standpoint. So I'm firing out terms and they're writing stuff down. So I do think it helps.
Which positions are you still looking for on this roster?
Yeah.
Or are you that specific?
Yeah, I mean, there's things we're looking for. Shooting is always where I go to, always. And so never can have too much shooting positionally, We're looking at a little bit more size at different spots. And then, athleticism, that's something I've been on kind of from day one. And so, we're trying to check a lot of boxes with those last two spots, but I think those kind of characteristics are ones that have stood out.
Are you planning on using both of those two scholarships? Because I know a lot of coaches like to kind of keep one in their pocket for mid-season changes or transfers or that kind of thing. But it sounds like you plan on using both of those.
Yeah, we'd like to, but at the same time, being able to have flexibility. There's certain guys that we've targeted at the moment that if we can get, we'd use them right now. There's other situations where, maybe later in the summer, maybe you wish you had one. So we're keeping our options open, but we're definitely have specific targets at the moment that we're ready to pull the trigger on.
What have been the biggest similarities between your time in the NBA and your brief moments so far in college basketball?
I mean, right now everything's been other than starting on Monday, everything's been super focused on the roster. I've really been taken back with how much the NBA world network-wise is similar to this, as far as scouts that I know in the NBA, or agents that I knew in the NBA world, and different people that are connected to different, whether it's AAU programs or high school programs. It's just the worlds have really started to merge quite a bit over the last couple of years, and being that I didn't know the old way, I've talked about that a lot. I don't know the old way, I only know this way, but it surprised me at how much those two worlds have really been put together.
You talked on the radio about Doug Stewart and his role in kind of helping you get engrossed with college basketball. How that process is ongoing for you?
Yeah, and I wouldn't just limit it to Doug. I mean, Doug knows how to operate and move around campus as far as a coach, and he's been in administration as well. So even yesterday we had a meeting with some folks from the administrative side, and they asked me well, who on your staff is going to be the point person for this? And I pointed right to Doug. So his expertise there. But then Dunson's been incredible. Burgess has been incredible with that. So I feel like I'm in good hands with that type of stuff.
How do you connect some of your coaches that don't know BYU quite as well in terms of recruiting and the unique nature of what BYU is?
And I think that goes back to the people that we brought in, and they have an understanding of that because of just who they are as people and understand what this place is. And we've honestly haven't had to talk about it a ton. To be honest with you, there's times where I feel like they're talking me out of guys because they may think he's not a fit or what have you. So I've been impressed with how mindful they are of that.
Do you plan to fill
Found a place to live and brought your family in. Just tell us about where you are.
Yeah, we're getting close. My kids had to finish up school, what they just did. They had a couple summer camps that they were already locked into down there. So we got a couple personal things we got to take care of in the next week or so. But after that, we feel like we'll start making the full transition.
Do you plan to
have
fill?
a house here?
We're getting close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you plan to fill all 13 scholarships before training camp in September?
Would like to, yes.
What are you hoping to accomplish on the court these first couple practices with these guys?
Just integration, points of emphasis, not getting caught up in the minutia, but just the generalities, I would say, just the familiarity with, spacing, and I'm throwing in different terms and things like that.
On the assistant coaches, did you call them or did they call you?
A little bit of both. Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, a lot of these guys. I mean, a couple of these guys I had on my radar. If I would have gone the NBA route. There was a few of them I talked to over the years about that. There was a mixture.
What has been the reaction as you've been out and about? Obviously, since you're higher, enthusiasm for the program has just skyrocketed. Assuming you can get out of your office, what has been the reaction from people when you're out and about?
It's been great. You can kind of sense some excitement in the community. In fact, when Will Voigt got here, we were up here till pretty late one night, and he's like, man, where should we eat? So let's go to In-N-Out. So we're sitting at In-N-Out, and some young man came up, are you Kevin Young? Yeah, and then this table next, what? Oh my gosh! And they're all excited, taking pictures. I had special sauce all over my face or whatever, but it's been great, man. It's unbelievable support for the program, and our coaches are sensing that quickly.
Last question. You mentioned that you want BYU to be a premier place for players to come who want to be in the NBA, developing toward that. With the college game for you being so new, how do you sort of integrate those two ideas in order for the guys to reach their goals?
Yeah, so when I say that, I mean it's a very holistic approach to a program, right? It's it's not one specific thing. It's, we have an NBA head strength conditioning coach who's in the NBA for 8 years. Our mental performance coaches has been in the NBA for many, many years. Myself, many of my coaches have NBA backgrounds. Our facilities are very NBA-like. So I just, the way we're structuring our player development program, with how we're doing it, our style of play. So I don't think and I've tried to explain that to Dallin and Richie and Cable when we were recruiting him, and some of the players that we've gotten commitments from and so forth. So it's not just one specific thing. I think it's an overarching, mindset of how we're organizing the program.
All right, thanks, guys.